Hello, welcome back to CCU Rewind. This is the podcast where we look at old films and we decide whether they stack up to our modern standards. My name's Matt, this is my friend Seamus.
Hiya.
Today we're going to talk about Lethal Weapon, the first Lethal Weapon. Just to start off with, what do you think of the film?
Oh, I love this movie. I've watched it so many times. I mean, I've watched because this is the first time you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
I made my girlfriend watch all of these movies, and now she loves them. I mean,
really?
She probably.
My girlfriend was sat
probably
whilst we
just
watched this
saying
film and she didn't even
she didn't
bat an
pay
eyelid. She was
attention.
playing games on her phone the whole
She,
time.
she doesn't like these movies.
No. I don't think so either.
We should really stop making her watch them.
Yeah. It's always like movies full of men, like Predator,
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, this.
If I was a girl, I would love watching Predator because it's just big, muscly men, and that's what girls like.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's why we've got girlfriends.
We really need to stop this conversation because soon we won't have girlfriends.
That's true, yeah.
If we keep on this path.
We're really sad.
Yeah, that would be very sad. And then we'd just be two men sitting in a room talking about movies.
Yeah, which is what we're doing anyway.
Yeah,
Except at the moment my girlfriend's sat here playing on her phone.
Don't spoil the magic. So what do you want to do? Do you want to should we start by going through the story of the film? And talking a little bit, explain to anyone who's not seen it. And if you've not seen it, it came out in the 1980s. So you really want to be catching up. If you come in to watch a non-spoiler review of Lethal Weapon, unfortunately you're too late.
The wrong place, yeah.
Yeah.
Even I basically knew what happened and I'd never seen the film before. There were that many spoilers floating around.
Yeah. 1987 this movie came back.
Was it 87?
1987.
Okay.
Came out, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's also... it's the second or third in our continuation of movies written by Shane Black.
Yeah, God, we've got so many of those films.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang at some stage.
Yeah, because it's going to be good.
Yeah. Okay, so should we do I think it's a perfect time to do our new segment.
Our new segment.
Our new segment, which is 30-second synopses, is the segment, but
Don't call it what it's called.
Seamus has got a brilliant name for it.
Call it by its real name.
You can call it by its real name. I call it the 30-second synopsis. Seamus calls it.
All right.
Go on.
Thanks for coming, and welcome to Gone in 30 Seconds.
Okay, got in 30 seconds. You've got 30 seconds now to give us a synopsis of this film. I'm going to time you on my,
You're going to say
my
go.
little watch.
Okay. So I've got 30 seconds.
You've got 30 seconds to give us a synopsis.
Right, cool.
Ready? I think this is the right button to press.
You're going to say go.
Yeah.
Am I going on 3 or am I going on go?
You can go on the beep of the watch.
Okay, I'll go on the beep of the watch.
Right, okay, ready?
Will it beep at the end?
Well, I'll just say stop at the end to keep it consistent. It'll beep to start and then stop to stop.
Right, I'm ready. I'm gonna put my notes down so everyone knows I'm doing this freestyle.
Okay, nice one. Well done. No notes. I don't know if this is the right button to start, but I think it is. So if you hear a beep, go.
I'm just gonna start talking.
Right, okay.
Right, cool. So the story of this movie is Mel Gibson is a special agent from Vietnam. He was like spec ops, super cool, badass guy. He was also a sniper. And then he came home. His wife of 11 years has recently died, and he's just become partners with Danny Glover, who is worried because Mel Gibson's suicidal because his wife's died. He's worried that he's going to die too. It's just been his 50th birthday and he's about to retire.
Rubbish.
Oh.
No, you did alright. That was a good start.
Wasn't that bad for a first time segment. Do you want to close the segment by saying thank you for watching and then saying the name?
Thank you for watching our brand new segment, Gone in 30 seconds.
I said it.
Gone in 30
It
seconds.
was so worth it.
Oh. I'm too old for this shit. Right. Okay, so now we'll just talk about, I think the first thing we should pick up on is the writing, because we've got Shane Black in here again.
Yeah. Our best friend of the show, Shane Black.
Friend of the show. Sponsor us.
If Shane Black has a mattress or something, we could
please.
that would be good.
We could call him Shave Black. Do a Dollar Shave Club. That's terrible. That's not
You had a problem with Gone in 30 seconds.
I know, that's terrible. Right. So I think the dialogue in the film is really good. So
yeah.
they seem like people. Well, when they first meet, they seem like people who really hate each other and who've never met before, and well, I don't need no partner kind of situation. But then within the first 10 minutes, like Mel Gibson says he'll buy Danny Glover a present, and it's just like, oh, you'll buy me a present, and massive smile goes across his face, and then they're best friends for the rest of the film.
They fight a bit and then they're friends.
Yeah.
The Danny Glover is, he's just so great in this movie. I mean, Mel Gibson's great, but Mel Gibson's story is somewhat more archetypal. Like we've seen it before. He's upset at the start. He's suicidal at the start, but he gets given like a family, and that's what really turns him around. But Mel Gibson, Danny Glover is he's just like a normal guy. He just wants to live his life, and he wants to like his new partner.
Yeah.
But he's worried that he's going to die because of it.
Yeah, because it's when he jumps off the roof, isn't it? So there's a bit where Mel Gibson's trying to talk someone down off a roof. Instead of talking him down, he chats to him for a second about bullshit, handcuffs himself to the guy who's going to jump, and then jumps off with him handcuffed to him, but thankfully onto a nice big inflatable safety net. At the bottom of the floor. And Danny Glover is rightly pissed off about the situation.
And then Danny Glover tries to test, because the background to it all is that all the police think that Mel Gibson's only doing it so that he can get a pension, what they call a psycho pension. So like he gets released on mental health grounds and they give him a pension early. So Danny Glover makes him put his gun in his own mouth and tells him to kill himself. And then he nearly does, and he stops him and he's like, "Oh my god, you really are suicide." He even tells him the best line in the movie. He even goes, "Don't put it next to your head, you'll just shoot yourself in the ear."
You shoot yourself in the ear, yeah, that's a good point. Don't do that, you might hurt your ears if you shoot yourself in the head.
You can kill yourself, but don't shoot yourself in the ear.
I'm trying to think of what other lines I had together. There's like a really good scene where, like a good dialogue scene where they're both at the gun range and they've got big earmuffs on, and instantly they're walking into all this gunfire and are shouting because they've got earmuffs and there's gunfire. Yeah, screaming to the top note, and then they're like trying to get the best shots. Danny Glover's rightly impressed with his most in the chest performance, whereas Mel Gibson's managed to draw squares on the chest and head.
Mel Gibson's is like perfect. Like I couldn't draw it better.
He just like lined them up all next to each other.
And they do a good job. One of the things I think that we're noticing makes a great action movie, because we talked about John Wick in the past, but it's no more prevalent than in John Wick. Is when you're able to set up all the themes of the movie very quickly. So in this, the opening scene on Mel Gibson is him catching all these drug dealers and shooting a load of guys, and it's showing how, what his skill set is and whatever. And then the next scene is him being suicidal, and the opening scene on Danny Glover is him in the bath with all his family, and he's happy and it's his birthday, and it sets him up as a family man.
Yeah. To make it really obvious to you, and they also they spend a lot of time building up the characters. Like the character development is literally the first half of the film is them doing stuff like talking the guy down off the roof doesn't have anything to do with the main plot.
No.
There's loads of little bits like that. Putting the gun in his mouth isn't related to the main plot of these drug dealers who are taking over. And then only about, I don't know if it was halfway through the film, but quite far into the film, that's when it kicks off properly and they all start having gunfights and cars are driving over people and all the madness kicks off. So all the action is contained. Not all of it, but like a big portion of the action is contained towards the end of the film, of the main plot at least. So they did a good job. They make sure that you like the characters and they get along, and they give you like something to grab onto. I think
the chemistry between the two guys is great, and there's a reason why there's 4 of these movies. I mean,
well, there's 6 if you include the It's Always Sunny.
That's true.
Renditions of.
I don't want to ruin it for you, but those It's Always Sunny movies. That's not really Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
It's not?
No.
Oh, wow. Even when they look completely different.
Even when they're both white.
Yeah, when they're both white and then one of them is a white guy with a brown face.
But arguably just as good as the actual real life Lethal Weapon's great, but those Lethal Weapon remakes, oof.
Brilliant. I like the scene, like the 10-minute scenes of Danny DeVito having sex with a woman on the bed. Full penetration. Just going ooh to himself as he does it.
The chemistry between these two guys is really what carries this movie. I mean, it's really well paced as well, but the writing, I think, makes it easy for him to get across how close they are already. I'd be shocked if these two weren't friends off screen.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got 2 guys that are very charismatic, but you've got to have a fluidity between them and their ability to talk to each other. It has to appear like they're friends, and I think it probably does, because I think they probably are.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so I think and it was the same with Predator as well. Predator, you had an idea that Arnie's crew had all known each other for a while. He did quite a good job at establishing that. And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's the same. It's two guys. He establishes a connection with them really early on, and then everything kicks off midway through.
Yeah.
And same with Nice Guys. It's all about Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, getting to know each other. So it's a theme with Shane Black's films, and it seems to work. It's he's made his career out of it. He's made his life out of it.
Yeah, I mean the buddy cop movie is a classic genre. It's maybe a bit overplayed today, but it works when you can bring in two guys like this, or like you say, Ryan Gosling and
Russell
Crowe and the Nice Guys, that just seem like they're enjoying it and they're having fun together.
Yeah.
And that comes across in the movie, I think. I wanted to say this actually when we were watching it, but the attention to detail in this movie is actually really great. Like when they're in the police office at the start, there's loads of stuff going on in the background, like there's people chatting, there's lots of movement, it's very vibrant. It makes it seem real, but it also means that when they're just sitting chatting, you don't get bored. Like it keeps the pace of the movie up.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Also, I think it's a bit like James Bond, with all the gadgets they have. James Bond has like a laser watch, and Danny Glover has a phone with a handle that he carries around. It's like a little.
He's got that massive phone.
Yeah, it looks like a C4 like discharger or something like that. It's got a big wire coming out of it.
Yeah.
There's buttons on the back of the phone, with a little screen that has nothing on it.
It's got a little. It's not a screen. It's like it's a cassette tape holder thing.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, so in case he wants to record the conversation.
So he can record the conversation.
Oh, yeah. Cassette tape
because he's
holder.
a detective. Who knew that technology wasn't going to last?
I know.
I thought we'd all be carrying around giant suitcases
With
which are just batteries for the phone.
It was a battery, wasn't it? Yeah. So it is a bit like James Bond. Yeah. So then we talked about the characters quite a bit. We haven't talked about Gary Busey's character yet. We've talked about these two a bit, but I think to keep using Shane Black's name over and over, another thing with Shane Black films is that he always has like bad guys who are quite human as well, and usually quite funny.
Yeah.
Gary Busey's quite funny. The way he just flies a helicopter everywhere is quite funny.
He's just silly, isn't he?
Yeah.
Gary Busey's great because the big bad guy in this movie, the guy who plays the general, he's terrible.
He's barely even in it. Like this Busey is his only henchman. Anything that's done by the bad guy is just done by Busey.
He's just done by him.
You'll see him in one scene, like attacking them in a helicopter, and literally 2 seconds later on the phone calling somebody to set something else up. And he does about. I don't know what his job position is within that crew, whether he's like, deputy manager or something. But he's also like he works on the shop floor. He
just does everything himself.
Yeah, he kills people for him. He does everything. It's brilliant.
He's really good. He's really, really good in this movie, and you can tell that I don't know whether he had a career before this. I'm guessing he did.
I'm not sure.
You can see why he went on to be something.
Yeah.
Because he's just entertaining.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him in it. So, have we got any more segments? Yeah. So the main question.
So we're gonna. The theme of the show is looking back and seeing whether movies stack up today. So do you think if you went into the cinema, if this movie came out now and you went into the cinema to watch it, would you be satisfied with it, or would you be upset?
Well, I mean, as you asked me that question, fireworks have just gone off in the background. I don't know if that means something.
Someone's celebrating.
It's like, yeah. Someone just wants to see the weapon. So I think, like, I sort of said it to you earlier, I can't tell if this... I can't tell if this film is taking the piss out of these buddy cop films. I think it is a bit taking the piss out of them, but also showing you how to do it well, to just have fun with it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah, so if I watched it today, I would just think it's, taking the piss out of those old buddy cop films, and it would stack up, because that's exactly what, to bring it up again, Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang doing, because I've got that anchor in those two modern films, which are very similar, except just with newer phones. Yeah, I feel like I would see it in the cinema and be like, yeah, it's good. It might freak me out that Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are both young. That might freak me out a bit. If it came out today and Mel Gibson was 30, I'd be like, wait a minute.
Mel Gibson, only 31 in this movie. And he must be older. He's young. He's the young character. Danny Glover is supposed to be 50, but he's only 39.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson must also be older to have lived the life that he supposedly lived.
Yeah.
Been married for 11 years and then also had a long career in special
Yeah, we're working out because
forces.
he said he was in the mission in 1969, and I saw in this film something dated 84. So the film's set in 1984, and the Vietnam thing was in 69 that Mel Gibson was involved in. So it's been 15 years at least since he was in that operation in Vietnam. So he has to be 15 years older than.
So he has to be at least 35.
Yeah, something like that.
Because if he's 20 when he goes to Vietnam, that's not mad. I mean, you could say he could have been 18 and then he could be 33 now, but that'd be ridiculous.
Well, I think the weird thing is like the actors are probably the same age. So like Danny Glover's almost 40, he's 39. Mel Gibson could be like 35 actually in real life or something. There's like 4 years between them, but they've pushed Danny Glover into the high end and be like, Danny Glover is an old 50-year-old man.
Yeah, he's an old man.
They put bits of talcum powder in his hair so he looks older. And then Mel Gibson's like, oh, I'm only 20, but I was in a war 15 years ago as a baby. It doesn't make it, so they've just pushed them to complete opposite ends. So
he's a child soldier in Vietnam.
So real life 4-year gap, film life 30-year gap between the two of them.
And he, the other thing about this, right? I remember Danny Glover saying, "I'm too old for this shit" in every second or third line of this movie.
He only says it once. Yeah, it's just because it's been used so much. He's like, "Get to the chopper." He only says "Get to the chopper" once in Predator, but
in the later ones, in 2 he says it, in 2 and 3 he says it more than once, and in 4 Mel Gibson starts saying it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That's funny.
So it's like it becomes the catchphrase later on.
It's like I said to you when I was saying whether this film is like. Whether it knows what it's doing, whether it's self-aware, and whether it's taking the piss out of buddy cop films. The fact that they take that line from the first film and are aware that everyone knows it as, well, it would have been a meme then, but it's a meme now. Yeah, everyone knows it as a meme. Shane Black was like, oh, a meme, I'll keep that going through the film. Yeah, so they obviously know what they're doing and they listen to audience response, they must do.
Yeah, I think so. I think another good way then of seeing whether it stacks up, considering you haven't watched this film before, is would you watch Lethal Weapon 2 now that you've seen Lethal Weapon 1?
Definitely, definitely watch Lethal Weapon 2.
Would you commit to watching Lethal Weapons 2 to 4?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh wow, that's
and then I'd rewatch It's Always Sunny.
No.
just those clips.
Would you watch Lethal Weapons 2 to 6 is what I mean.
Yeah, I definitely would,
yeah, so I think we've gotten to the bottom there of that. I mean, it's just great, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's brilliant. We've watched some really good action movies.
I'm really impressed with them.
Because there is a big difference between this and Predator, for example. But they're both great, and even though one of them borders on being sci-fi, I mean it is sci-fi really.
Yeah, but that small element of him being an alien, but they could have just made him anything else. So that's the weird thing. It's like it's the smallest element of sci-fi. It could have been John Claude Van Damme as a ninja.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture I found for it as well? There's like I found a picture. I think I put it on the podcast that we did. There's a picture of Jean Claude Van Damme sat next to Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers has got like a fake non-arm on, and they just sat like chilling on set just to prove that John Claude Van Damme was meant to be in it.
I didn't realise that.
So that was true.
That's good. Yeah. But the things that make those movies work, the thing that make Predator work, and the thing that makes Lethal Weapon work is the snappy dialogue, good chemistry, and actors who can carry it by themselves, who can be on screen on their own and carry things themselves. I think it's great.
Well, I think on the note of snappy dialogue, I think I wrote down a few quotes. Well, I wrote down the point where they say lethal weapon.
Yeah.
So Danny Glover says to I don't know what after what happens before he says you're a lethal weapon.
I think
because he says I suppose we'll have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Oh
I
don't
know what he says that after.
It's after he kills the guy in the pool, I think.
Oh right.
So Danny Glover's like, right, we're going to just investigate and just question this guy.
Yeah.
And the guy pulls a shotgun on them.
A shotgun on them. Yeah, that's
and
true.
And then Mel Gibson shoots him, and Danny Glover's like, we're going to have to register you as lethal weapon.
Yeah. On that note, just reminded me of Danny Glover's like ascent into murderous, like. Yeah, murderer. Basically, a descent into murderer, like into a murderer. Because he like starts off being like, we can't kill anyone. And even when they're against like 15 bad guys, and there's just 2 of them, like with the shitty guns, and his daughter is being held by them right now, and they could kill her at any minute. Mel Gibson's like, when we go in, we're gonna have to go in and kill them all. And he's in Danny Glover's front room with a red light on them from the Christmas tree, and he's just like, we need to kill them all. And Danny Glover's just like, oh, we still shouldn't really kill anyone, I don't think. Riggs. Yeah, he's almost not a bad person. By the end of it, Riggs, Mel Gibson, is having a fight with Gary Busey's character because he decided to have a fist fight on
Mr. Joshua.
Yeah, Mr. Joshua. Mr. Joshua, not
just
sir to you, Mr. Joshua to you. Yeah, he's having a fight with Gary Busey on the front lawn of Danny Glover's house, And when Mel Gibson has him in like some sort of triangle lock armbar thing, Danny Glover's just like, yeah, kill him, snap his neck, break his neck, murder him. It's like, what happened to you? It's been 10 minutes since you said no, stop killing anyone.
That fight is so much fun because it starts off as like a backyard brawl, like bare knuckle boxing match, and then it becomes a UFC fight.
It does. They get rid of those weird
Mel Gibson's getting like triangle chokes in. He's like going for an armbar.
He's trying to get like full mount on him so he can get his arms under his legs and all this shit.
It's like what people thought the UFC was
back in
the
the
80s. People in the front garden whacking each other with long metal pipes and then trying to put on chokeholds.
Well, that whole scene, like the way it must have been orchestrated. You were saying on the way over, they must have been in the car together, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, just being like, okay, so we're gonna drive a police car through your own front room, through the wall of your own front room, and then we're gonna drag him outside, and you two are gonna have a fist fight. I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna keep all the cops back so no interrupts, because there are a billion police just watching this fight. They're all like, yeah, get him, Riggs.
Yeah. And then they get there, and you assume like, oh, well, they are going to listen to Murtaugh, because out of the two of them, he's the voice of reason. Like, he's very well respected. He's an older gentleman, arguably too old.
Yeah.
And he's telling them to stand back. There must be a reason why this is going on. Like, clearly they're in control of the situation. And then he starts shouting, break his neck, break his fucking neck. And you, as a police officer, you'd be like, I think we should stop this.
Also, there's that weird, like, creepy understory of, like, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's daughter. Danny Glover's daughter is attracted to Mel Gibson for some unknown reason.
Even though she's like 17.
Yeah, she must just really like his mullet. I don't know. Yeah, we're 11. Must really like his mullet or something. I don't know what that is, but that's really creepy as well. And they reference it at the end. Yeah. You know, that he's like, I think your daughter likes me. And Danny Glover, touch her, I'll kill you. Like, stop killing people, Danny Glover.
He's become a murderer.
You murderer. The music, before we go on to trivia, we should briefly mention how good the music is, because I forgot to mention it.
It's just like jazz, blues music.
Yeah, I think it's had Eric Clapton's name at the start, and he's like a blues guitarist, so you hear a lot of like twangy guitar. Yeah. And it said him and someone else, so I imagine the other person is the saxophonist, because it's just saxophone and bluesy bass guitar all the way through it.
Saxophonist.
A saxophonist. That's what they call them, saxophonist.
Right. We've only got one segment left, haven't we?
Trivia segment.
What's it called?
Oh shit, yeah, you got a name for this too. Alright. You should say it, because you've written it down properly, I'm going to say it wrong. Alright, the trivia section, also known as...
To be or not to IMDb.
That's good, yeah, I love that.
Which is the worst name.
I wrote it down as IMDb or not, but you had it down as to be or not to
be
IMDb.
Or not to IMDb. We're still workshopping that one.
Yeah. Have you got the trivia questions already?
Yes. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is we've been just doing trivia, and it's interesting. And at the start we did do we think this is real or not, which we couldn't regulate because we had no idea whether it was real or whether it wasn't real. So on this one, I'm going to read some interesting trivia off my phone. Some of them are real, and some of them I'm going to make up, right, on the spot.
Yeah.
So this is both a test of whether you think I'm lying and a test of whether I can lie under pressure.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily whether it's true or false. It's whether it's on IMDb or not, because IMDb trivia can be added by anyone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So there could be something ridiculous on there, which sounds like it would be on IMDb, but it actually is. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is right at the start of this movie. There's a woman who jumps off a building and kills herself. She lands on a car and squishes it.
Because I remember I was betting, because she was looking out the window like she was going to jump, and I was like, I bet she lands on that red car, because it's the brightest car there, and she landed on the grey car next to the red car. I was well upset. But yeah,
she that was actually a real stunt person jumping off a real building.
Oh really?
Landing on a real
car. On a real car.
Yeah.
How was the building as high as it was in a? Because it was like quite a few stories high.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there. Okay. So I've got to tell you whether this is true or not.
Tell me whether it's real or not. You can ask questions if you want.
That sounds really real. I feel like whatever you come up with is going to be ridiculous. So that sounds quite real.
You think that's real?
Oh, you're excited about it, so maybe it's not. You're really excited. I think it's real.
Oh, it is real.
It is real good. You almost tried to turn me there. Did a Chris Tennant. Chris Tarrant, that's it. She wants to be a millionaire.
So, in the scene where Mel Gibson is threatening to kill himself, that gun has real bullets in it. because he wanted to pretend.
There's a scene where he first looks. Sorry, Ron.
Yeah, where he puts it into his head and then he puts it in his mouth, and you see him start to pull the trigger. He wanted it to be really real, so he put real bullets in the gun.
Right. Yeah, I've got a point of contention with that because they show a long shot or a mid shot of him holding the gun, and his finger is almost nowhere near the trigger. It's just about touching the trigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's really on it. And then they show a close up of him almost completely pulling the trigger, and then it goes back to where he's almost not touching it. So it depends. Like, if the real bullet was in the gun when he's almost not touching the trigger, then that's fine. But if there's a real bullet in the gun when it's like going really close up and he's really tightening it, then yeah. So I'm just making it complicated, but I imagine in the ones where he put the gun into his mouth on a mid shot, I reckon that's real. I reckon that's true.
You reckon he really had real bullets in a real gun?
Maybe on that one, because he might have had the safety on, and he had his finger quite far away from it. Not for the close up, I don't think, but for the mid shot.
That is unfortunately not true.
You made that up.
He had pretend actor blank pretend bullets that he just put in, so it looked like they were real, but they weren't.
So did you read on there that it was pretending and you said it was real?
Yeah, I was just making it up on
sneaky,
the spot.
yeah. It makes it easier.
I've got another really good one for you. 3 stuntmen were killed during the making of this movie.
I think that's a lie, but I mean, I say a lie. I think that's not on IMDb, but somebody could have put that on there.
Yeah.
3. I can't think of any.
It's quite a long one. You can ask questions if you want.
I'm trying to think of what stunts would have killed somebody on that film. Yeah, I don't think it's real, but I bet it is on there now, actually.
What do you want to say? Your final answer?
No, I don't think it's on there.
No, it's not real. I made that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of legendary stuntman Dar Robinson, I don't know who he is, was killed in a motorcycle accident shortly after principal photography was finished.
Oh, so after,
And the director, Richard Donner, dedicated this film to him.
Yeah, I know it's a guy who's called Richard Donner. So he's the director of the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just made me think of kebabs. I couldn't get it out of my mind. Once I saw Richard Donner, I was thinking about eating kebabs for the entire film. But, got any more for me?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a couple more for you. I don't know whether we might have talked about this before, but among a number of other people, Bruce Willis was considered for this role in place of Mel Gibson. You
mentioned something earlier about Die Hard being the same producer as Lethal Weapon, so I'm going to say that's true. So you trick yourself. Put yourself up there. Am I talking too much about what you know? I don't know anything about this film.
Okay, I've actually got a really good one because we've talked about this. The real age of Mel Gibson in this movie is 38. True or not true?
You mean the age of the actor?
No, the age of the
character.
The character. Sorry, I should say the real age of.
Well, we did work out that he was possibly at least 35, probably. If he was in the war when he was 20.
Yeah, I have the actual age written on here, but I could have made it up. Could be any number.
What do I don't win anything. There's no prizes.
I could just downplay the importance of this.
I could just say.
I think you're 3-1 up, although we'd probably have to watch the tape back.
Yeah, I think so. At least 2-1 up. 3-1 up, maybe. Yeah, I reckon he was 38.
Fucking hell, I'm not very good at this.
Yeah, see?
He was 38.
Smashed it. I'm good
Although
at this I'm good at this shit. We need to change this segment. Fuck the IMDb or not to be, whatever you call it. To be or not to IMDb, what was it?
I'm going to find one more, and then I'm going to show off my shoes, and then we'll call it a day.
Oh, nice one, yeah.
So... I'm not very good. I don't think there's any more interesting ones.
It's alright, we can just call it a win for me then. And then the segment there, you just don't want me to win. You could just make one up now. You could pretend you found one right now, but here's a good one, and just say something ridiculous.
What about they chose Mel Gibson for this movie because they saw him in Mad Max and how crazy and deranged he was. So Richard Donner brought him forward and decided to have him in this.
Yeah. Right, well, again, you said to me earlier when we were watching the film, you were like, "Oh, I wonder." I wonder if because Mel Gibson was crazy in Mad Max, that's why they cast him in this film. So it was a wonder, you said earlier, and I think you're using that to come up with another fake IMDb. Yeah, That's true.
What do you reckon? True or false?
I reckon it's false.
That's true.
It's true?
Yeah, it's
really?
on here. I had to scroll down for ages, but it's on here.
Oh, that's mad. You actually thought that as well. You said that
Yeah.
earlier in the middle
I mean,
of
I
the
only
film.
really vaguely looked at it,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that's what it said. I've lost it now.
That's good. Well, we'll end it. Should we end it at... I'm either 3-2 or 4-2.
I think
So
that was true.
let's end it on a win. for
Yeah,
me.
you can have this week, and then we'll come back to it next week.
Yeah.
When you can do
I'll
Gone in
read.
30 seconds.
I'll do Gone in 30 seconds, okay. And then
You-
I'll
oh,
read
you
trivia
pick
to you
second.
maybe, and you can do the trivia
Yeah.
guess.
I'm going to show off my shoes.
Yeah. Maybe we should get all your shoes.
They're new. I don't need it.
Oh,
They're so comfortable.
the underneath armour.
Do you want? Can we do a shoe? Can we do a trainer unboxing podcast?
Yeah, okay, why not?
People
Do as
like
many
that stuff.
podcasts as you want.
Sneakers. You're supposed to say sneakers.
Sneakers,
Because it's
yeah.
for sneaking around.
Yeah, no, don't sneakers. What would you call them? Trainers. It's for training.
Training,
which
yeah.
neither of us do
And
anyway.
I've never trained in these. My knees are in so much pain.
Yeah.
So I'll try and crack them for the thing. No, that didn't work.
No, I think you just did one before that.
Yeah, well,
it's gone now.
that's
You lost the
pretty
power of the crack.
Yeah.
Not cocaine. Knees, cracking knees.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything
Yeah.
that we want to talk about.
All right.
Do you want to improv a sign off line, and we can just cut it out if it's terrible.
Ah. I instantly just thought of the one from Rick and Morty. Which
Mhm.
is just like, and that's the way the news goes. They just say that at the end of one of the episodes.
I think we should you would do proper YouTube little kid YouTuber podcast thing and be like our video. Please like and subscribe.
Make sure you like and subscribe, everyone. Hit that notification
Hit that
bell.
like button.
You might not find our videos. Hit the notification and press like 6 times. Make 6 more accounts. Love us.
If you were real fans, you would make more accounts and watch our videos over and over.
Exactly. Yeah. Well.
Again, if Jesse Ventura is watching, don't at us.
Don't at him on Twitter. And also, if any mattress sponsors watching, or Dollar Shave Club, or anyone who sells anything, please.
Dollar Mattress Club.
Yeah. Just
Mattress Shave Club.
just give me a quid a pod. Make it worthwhile.
Yeah, £1 a podcast.
You can buy a McFlurry for a quid.
£1 any money would be great. I mean, we're pretty close to begging on the street. You know?
We're begging on camera, so
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
it's just as bad. All right. Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
See you next time when we're going to cover some other film that's old, but now
Yeah.
we're going to look at it with our modern young people eyes. Well, your young people eyes.
Yeah, you're real old. Don't
my
say
old,
you're young.
my
You're
old
not
people
young.
eyes.
You're real
My
old.
Danny Glover eyes.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't need
if
it.
you were young, you wouldn't need. You'd have perfect eyes like me. You wouldn't need glasses. Oh my God, that's terrifying. People with glasses should never take off their glasses.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, you guys can't see this, but I'm in a room full of people who've just taken off their glasses. It's absolutely horrifying. Oh,
You can do the sign off. Wear my glasses. These are the magic sign off glasses.
Oh, fucking hell. I actually can't see fuck all.
Yeah, it's really strong. I can't see anything either. This is a bad setup. Don't read something now. Don't pick
No,
your
it's a
notepad.
prop. It's a
Oh,
prop.
right,
I'm
okay.
going to do the anchor.
I just pushed up nothing. I just did one of them. Well, I can't see. Maybe I'll push my nose a bit.
Actually,
Oh.
giving me a headache, this.
Right, okay, they do the sign off. Do you want to clamp something down as well?
What does he say on Anchorman? Some in San Diego.
That's where the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
No. He's
Oh.
like, thanks for coming, San Diego, or something like that.
Is it? Mm.
I know the only thing I can remember is when they change the teleprompter and he goes like this. He's like,
Oh, Anchorman you're talking
Yeah.
about. For some reason I thought Bruce Almighty. It
what
just
does he
came
say
into
on
my head.
Anchorman?
Anchorman, I don't know. I can't
Are you
remember.
gonna-
I don't see that. I can't
He's
see
like,
you
they're
right
like talking about something, and he's like, ha ha ha, that was great news. Thanks for coming, San Diego. Go fuck yourself. And then it goes off because someone's changed like the teleprompter. I can't.
I can count as the exit anyway. I
Yeah.
think this is the goodbye is longer than the entire podcast. So
Yeah,
I'm just going to cut this entire thing out. Because fuck you.
Are we calling it a day?
Yeah.
Wait, I've got something to say.
It's over. Okay, done.
My knees really hurt.
I'll just run on ending.